Hi everyone, myself Dr. Lakshmi Prasad, working as an associate professor in the Department of Data Science in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In this video, I'm going to discuss about what are the various concepts of linking data sets. So by the end of this video where the students can able to learn what is the linked data and what is the open data and what is the difference between the linked and open data, and then how we're going to publish this linked data sets and social economical aspects of the linked data. So what is the linked data? So that one is already evolved from the document based web to a web of the interlinked data. So the data already linked to the one web page to the another web page, that should be the linked data of that web page. So the web is going to be evolved from the web of link of documents into web of linked data. So this should be the web of documents. So when document able to have some of the links to the other web pages, and this web page is going to access this web page, and this is the main, and the two sub web pages that are interlinked through the hyperlinks. So this page is going to access this one web page, and second page is going to access the link of the first one as well as the second one. So these are the web of interlinked data that is looks like, where the interlinking connection is going to be available from so many of web pages. So the web is going to start it as the collection of document publishing online, but accessibility at web location identified by URLs only. And these documents often contain about the world resources, which is mainly human and cannot be understood by the machines. And the web of the data, what is about is enabling the access of this data, and by making it available in machine readable format and connecting it to the uniform resource locator, thus enabling the peoples and machine to collect the data and putting it together to all the kinds of the things which may be permitted by the license. So what is the web is going to have the more collection of documents that is going to be available, but it should be for difficult for the users to human readable and then understandable by the machine. So for that, what we're going to have is so uniform resource locator. Through this, where that web of data is enabling the process of this data and connecting to the many of the people, and then even the machines can also be collect the data and putting it together for all kinds of the things. So what should be the definition of linked data is that, linked data is nothing but a set of design principles for sharing the machine readable data on the web for the use by public administrations, business, and then citizens. So there should be going to have four design principles. So what shows the four design principles is that, so use uniform resource identifiers as the name for the things, so what we call it as URIs, and use this HTTP URI so that the people can able to look up those names. And whenever the someone look up this URI, which can able to provide the useful information using the various standards. And we should also the links to the other URLs so that they can able to discover more things. Okay, so these are the some of this principles what we are going to be follow for linking the data. So very first thing is that we have to be make use of this. So URI as the name for the things, and then use HTTP URI so that the people can able to look up these names. And when someone look up these URIs, which can also provide some useful information and should also include links to the other URIs so that they can able to discover the more things. So what is the difference? So open data is the data that may be freely used and reused and redistributed by anyone, and subject only at or it may be at most to the requirement, the attribute, and the share alike. Right. So according to this open definition, so open data is nothing but which should where the data is can be freely used and can also be used and redistributed by anyone, and this is subject likely or at most to the requirement to the attribute. So what is the open data? So open data is nothing but where the data can be published and be publicly available under open license without linking to the other data sources. Right. So the open data means the data will not cannot can be published publicly available, but it should not be without linking, without having any kind of license. And linked data means where the data is going to be linked to the URLs from the other data sources. So using these standards as the RDF, so without publicly available under the open license, that should be the linked data. So the data that can be linked to the URLs from other data sources, but using open standards such as RDF without being publicly available under any open license. So next we are going to see about the linked data foundations. So URI, so Uniform Resource Identifier. So it should be a compact sequence of characters that identifies abstract or physical resource. And person, it may be an Albert Einstein or country, Belgium, and World Heritage Site and data set. So like this, we are having some of the URIs how can able to create this. So this is the URI that I'm going to be have for connecting this image of Albert Einstein. So similarly, this is the other URI that can able to connect this country, and similarly, I can able to store some World Heritage site. So this is the thing you can able to URI. Like this, we are going to have different types of data assets as well for through the URL. Okay, through URL through URI. So we can able to connect to the different data sets. So what is the RDF and then this, Sparkle, and so this resource description framework, that is RDF, so it is nothing but a syntax for representing the data and the resources in the web. And this RDF breaks every piece of information into triples, and that like in the form of subject, predicate, and then object. So RDF, so that is resource description formula, which is going to be divided into different formats into the form of triples one. So very first thing is that subject, that is nothing but resource, which may be identified with a URL, and predicate is nothing but an URI is identified real specification of the relationship, and object is nothing but a resource or it may be related to which the subject is going to be related. So if I'm going to take any one of the URI, so this one should be the subject and predicate, and this should be the object. And similarly, if I'm going to take this as an URI, and this should be the subject, which is the resource of this, and predicate, what is the URI of that, and what should be the object of it. Okay, so like this, the URI is going to be divided into different segments. So Sparkle is the standard language for querying the RDF data. So how we're going to publish this linked data is the next thing. So this linked or open data is going to be represented into different stars. The first thing is that first one star schema means so make your stuff available on the web. So whatever the format it is, and an open license, that should be an optional one. If it is a 2 star, so make it available as a structured data, like example Excel instead of image scan of the table. If it is a 3 star schema, so what you have to do, you have to use non-proprietary formats like CSV instead of Excel. And if it is 4 star schema, use URI to denote the things so that the people can point out your stuff. If it is 5-star schema, so they link your data to other data to provide the context. So like this should be the 5-star schema for a linked or open data, where you can able to shown in the form of various star schemas. So if it is a single star schema, then most of your stuff is going to be available on the web itself, and two-star schema means it should be available as a structured data, and if it is three-star schema means make use of non-proprietary formats, and if it is four-star schema, use URI to denote the thing so that the people can point out at your stuff, and if it is five-star schema, link your data to other data to provide the context. Let's see one by one. So one-star schema make your stuff available on the web under a standard open license. So make the data what is available, so under any standard open license website. So that should be here is Ministry of Defense like this. So what should be the pros and cons of this data means? So as a consumer, you can able to look at it and you can able to store it locally, and we can able to enter the data in any of the other system. You can change the data or you can able to share the data with anyone. But as a publisher, it should be simply to publish, and you can don't have explain repeatedly to others that they can use your data. Right, so these are the pros and cons of the open data. So as a consumer, so what we're going to do is, so we can able to look at it and we can able to store it locally, but we can able to enter the data in any of the other system, and you can able to change it, and you can able to share the data with anyone. So these are the process and the cons of the open data. As a publisher, it should be simply to publish and should be don't have explain repeatedly about the others what they're going to be using the data. And if you come to this two-star schema, make it available as structured data. So what is the data we have that should be represented in the form of some structured way? So we're able to see in the form of CSV file or XLS files. And what are the pros of this two-star open data means? So as a consumer, you can able to directly process it with appropriate software to aggregate it, and then you can able to perform calculations, visualize it, and you can also export it into another format. So as a publisher, it is similar to publish it. So these are the pros and cons of this two-star schema. And three-star schema is that, so use non-proprietary formats. So that means where proprietary means we are going to have Excel, Word, and PDF, and non-proprietary means XML, CSV, audio, JSON, ODF like this. So what will happen is, so this should be this using of non-proprietary formats so that anyone can be easily understood what the data it is and where it is going to be coming from like this. And four-star schema is that, so you can able to use URIs to denote the things. So once that one previous thing is done, so you can able to create the URIs, so in the form of subject, object, and then predicate fashion. And what are the pros and cons of the four-star linked data schema data is that, so as a consumer, so we can able to link it to the from other places, or we can able to bookmark it, and can able to reuse the parts of the data, and we can also reuse this existing tools, and we're also able to combine the data safely with other data. And but understanding and technology is going to be required to have some step learning curve. So as a publisher also, you can able to find granular control over the data is there, and other data publishers can also now link your data and promoting to the 5-star, and you will be able to reuse the vocabularies data and metadata and the URI design patterns instead of creating them from the scratch. But you typically need to invest some of the time in slicing and dicing your data. So these are some of the pros and cons of the open data. And when while coming to this 5-star linked open data, schema. So link your data to the other data, provide the context. So what is this we're having? So the linking of one page to the other web page, that is linking of data, so that many of the so if I am going to have this link, so I can able to click, I can able to open the other web page here. So the data can be viewed. Similarly, like this, we can able to simplify the view of the data by making use of this linking data sets. And what should be the pros and cons of this open data is that, so as a consumer, so we can able to discover the more relevant data while consuming the data, and then you can also directly learn more about the schema, and then you can also combine the data from different sources in a way to gain new knowledge and be an entrepreneur. So and then as a publisher, so you can also make your data discoverable, and you can also increase the content explicitly and then quality and value of your data to give the visibility to our organization. And this requires an investment in time and money, technology, and competencies or skills. So linked data can also be help to publish the structured and then integrated data from the different sources, right? So this may be the linked data. So linked data can also be helpful to publish structured data and integrated data of the different sources. And next thing is that about linked data. So the linked data enables you to build a common integrated view of the real world object. So this linked data. So what we're going to have is, so which can also allows us to build some of the integrated view of the entire real world object like this. So what are the benefits of this linked data means? So it should also allows for flexible integration of data sets of the different users without needing the data to be moved and forced in the use of information from the reference and authoritative sources, and caters for assigning common identifiers in the form of HTTP URIs to things and provide the context to data, and richer and more expansive data, and the use of standard interfaces such as HTTP and SparkQL as and simplifies the use of data for the machines. So these are some of the benefits of the linked data. So the benefits of the linked data may be that, so which is going to be allows for the flexible integration of the data set from the different sources, and then which also be make use of information from the references and authoritative sources, and it can also provide the context to the data, richer and more expensive one. And you can also make use of some of the standard web interfaces like HTTP and SparkQL, which can able to simplify the data for the data machines. So, what are the considerations you have to be considered for publishing the linked data? So, for that, so the linked data is a high quality data. So, considerably data cleaning and curation is required, and managing the different life scale is a challenging task here, and the mechanisms for handling updates and deletions in the data should be devised, and the tools and softwares supporting this linked data solutions are not still at the production level or quality level. Then the central authority should be take the responsibility of publishing and maintaining the persistent HTTP URIs for the data sources, and through this we can able to reuse and then extend the possible, and then especially the ones from the references data sources such as company registers. So the data is currently under available on different licenses, and in most of the cases, no license actually exists. An alternative, some business model is going to be used for publishing the linked data should be for further export. So these are the some of this linking data sets. What how are going to make this data set that should be publish one, and how we're going to be linking one. So the web link documents is going to be interlinked connected, and this should the hyperlinks. So the web link of linked data is going to be different here. So the web is going to be evolved from web of linked data into a web of linked data, documents into data. And so the defining the linked data is that the data linked data is nothing but a set down design sources principles for sharing machine readable data on the web for public administration, business, and citizens. So we have to be follow four kind of design principles. So first thing is that make use of URIs as the names for the things, and then use HTTP URIs as the names for the as people are going to be look up those names. And so when someone is going to be look up this URIs, we should also provide some useful information like various standards like RTF and historical, and we should also include the links to the other URIs so that they can able to discover the more things. So what is the difference between the open data and linked data is the thing. So the data what I can publish but be publicly available under open license. So without linking to the other data sets. This is the thing. So without linking to the other data sets sources. And linked data, so the data can be linked to the URI, so this is very important from the other data sources using the open standards like such as RDF, so without being publicly available and an open license. So this thing should be important here. So linked data foundation, so very important thing is that you can able to see the URI, so how to create the URI. So URI is nothing but a compact sequence of characters that identifies an abstract or physical resource. So URI is a compact sequence of characters that identifies an abstract or physical resource. Suppose if I want to see the picture where it is available in the web through the URI, I can able to connect it in the form of you know, subject, object, and then predicate, and similarly is country, and then some other fertility indicators also can able to make use of this. So what kind of thing we have to be make use of in RDF like resource description framework, which is the syntax for representing the data and resources in the web. So just now I said that this RDF is going to break the information into triplets like the subject, predicate, and object. So if I take any one of the URL, so the red color is point out the subject, and blue color is going to point out the predicate, and green color point out the object. So like this, we can able to split this URL into different things. Abstract is a standardized query language for processing the data. Then how we are going to publish the linked data? We are going to have different types of levels here. So 1-star scheme of linked data, 2-star scheme of linked data, 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star of linked data. So 1-star of linked data is nothing but so make use of stuff available in the web under the open license. So the advantages should be that you can able to look up easily, and you can able to store it locally. You can able to enter the data into system. You can able to change the data, and then you can able to share the data with anyone. So as a publisher, it should be simple to publish, and it should also going to be explained repeatedly to others that can use our data. And next one, it should be make it available as a structured data, that is the two small linked data. With this, you can able to directly process the proprietary software to the aggregate, perform the calculations, visualization. You can also export into another structured format. So, and third, 3-star open schema is that. So with this 3-star open schema, we can able to make use of proprietary formats, that is nothing but Excel, Word, and PDF. And non-proprietary means we can able to make use of XML, CSV, and RDF, JSON, ODF. So make use of this also can able to link the data. And the 4-star schema is that you can able to use of URIs to denote the things. And for example, if I'm going to create an URI for the units of Greek Ministry of Administration, Reform, and e-governance, so what I'm going to have, so based on this URIs only, I can able to simply we can enable the customers or people to directly send to the Greek Ministry of Administration, Reform. And what should be the pros and cons of this kind of data means we can able to link it to the other place, and we can able to bookmark it, and we can also reuse the parts of data, and can also able to reuse the existing tools, and can able to combine the data safely, but understand the technology resource curve. So as a publisher, so we are going to have final granular control over the data items and other data publishers, and we can able to reuse the vocabularies data, metadata, and URI data, but you can able to typically need to invest some of the time in slicing and dicing your data. So linking your data to the other data. So this is a 5-star schema of linked data. So that what will happen is the view should be look simple, and then more detail is going to be provided by linking to the other websites. And if I'm going to take this advantages of this one, so as a consumer you can able to discover more relevant data while consuming the data, and then you can able to directly learn about the schema, and you can also able to combine the data from the different sources and gain knowledge as become an entrepreneur. And as a publisher, you can also make your data discoverable. You can also increase the content, context, explicitity, quality, and value of data. And this requires an investigation time, technology, and this. So linked data can also be helpful to publish structure integrated from the different sources, and which also enables to build a common integrated view of the real world objects, and these are the benefits of the linked data, and these should be the considerations what have to be done for publishing the linked data. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.